futuro é guiado por dados, por decisões instantâneas, pela conectividade. E no sul de Minas Gerais, o Centro de Competência Embrapi Inatel em rede 5G e 6G, xGMobile, coloca o Brasil no protagonismo da nova era da tecnologia. Comunicação móvel que une setores, máquinas e pessoas. Soluções práticas para desafios reais. Quem lidera a transformação, cria oportunidades e amplia mercados. O futuro é agora. Ele começa em Minas e precisa de quem move a economia. Faça parte da revolução. Faça parte do xGMobile.
Bom dia a todos. É um prazer poder receber a todos os nossos estudantes, professores, pesquisadores, parceiros que trabalham conosco no grande desafio, de levarmos ao mundo aquilo que a gente pode fazer de melhor aqui no Brasil. Ao longo dos últimos 2 anos, a gente tem trabalhado com bastante afinco na construção de um centro de competência em parceria com a Embrapi, com um apoio bastante forte e intenso da FAPEMIG, para criar no Brasil uma estrutura que possa atender não só as pesquisas, mas também fazer com que essas pesquisas se transformem em elementos palpáveis para a indústria nacional. Nesses 2 anos, já conseguimos fazer 2 transferências importantes, uma para Furukawa, a outra para Trivale, e continuamos desenvolvendo não só soluções que vão atender o mercado nacional, um mercado que tem nichos, que tem verticais importantes, como agricultura, mineração, e várias outras vertentes que atendem às necessidades brasileiras, como também às necessidades internacionais. O Centro de Competência, ao longo dos últimos anos, tem trabalhado com afinco no intuito de fazer com que as nossas colaborações possam figurar dentro das especificações, recomendações, não só dos aspectos que norteiam o 6G, mas também daquilo que a gente necessita para a complementação do 5G, atendendo às necessidades das empresas aqui no Brasil e ao redor do mundo. Por esse motivo, eu agradeço a presença de todos, agradeço a organização do professor Luciano, responsável pelo xGMobile, de toda a sua equipe, que preparou esse evento com tanto carinho, com tanta determinação, para que, nesse momento, nós aqui presentes e também aqueles que nos acompanham pela web, possam desfrutar de informações importantes para o nosso caminhar e para o nosso alinhamento de informações, principalmente trazendo pesquisadores de diferentes partes do Brasil e do mundo para contemplar nesse momento uma visão generalizada daquilo que a gente desenvolve em todos os aspectos do 5G e 6G. Muito obrigado a todos, um bom dia e que vocês tenham um ótimo evento. Um abraço a todos.
Good morning, everyone. I will commute to English now because this is the international workshop that you are preparing. So before I start with my presentation, I'm the first presenter of the day. I would like to thank everybody that is coming here, everybody that's watching it online. It's a pleasure to be the host of this event. xGMobile is becoming an icon here in Brazil in terms of the 5G and 6G development, but we are not doing that alone. You have a group of people that are helping us, and here we can have a small idea of the size of what Brazil is doing in terms of technological development and how important you are becoming in terms of 5G and 6G development. Inatel is not alone in this task. You have Unicamp, you have UFC, you have UFPA, UFRJ, Unicinos, and so many other universities, and also institute of research such as CPQD, Eldorado, and also all the other competence centers, are 9 competence centers in total, and you are working together to make a huge transformation in the Brazilian reality. So I will start, just get my pointer, to talk a little bit about how Brazil is supporting the development of 6G networks. So just a small idea what's happening here in Brazil. So I will start with a short question regarding why do you need 6G, right? Every time that I start to talk about 6G, I always receive the comment saying, okay, you are seeing 5G being developed now. You just have one of the pillars of the 5G actually deployed, which is the xMobile broadband communication. And you're not yet done with 5G. And that's completely true. But if you come back a little bit and look to what it was presented by the IMT 2020, they are promising a lot of user case, a lot of applications, such as autonomous car. I heard a lot that the autonomous car was going to be dependent on 5G. We saw also this kind of remote telemedicine, where you can operate a patient thousands of kilometers away. We saw also controlling devices from everywhere in the world. And this is the picture that I took during the UCNC in 2019. It was the launch of 5G in Spain. And there was a guy here in the stage talk with a hologram, real time. And they are saying that they are transmitting that over 5G. So that creates a lot of expectation. Everyone was thinking about, okay, I'm going to have my phone in a few years from now, and they're going to have a hologram from my phone, and then I'll be able to talk with the guy as he was in the room with me. And then later on, although they are using some core features of 5G, actually the physical layer here was completely cable. It was fiber. Right? So it was 5G functionalities for the routing and for the core network, but the physical layer was actually not 5G. So this kind of expectation is stopped, hindered by some features that the physical layer in 5G networks that was heritaged from 4G. So you have the old waveforms, the code was improved, but not that much. And all the problems that you have with OFDM, which is the waveform used in 4G, is present in 5G. And now you're talking about integration with satellites, you're talking about low latency communication with small device, you're talking with power limitations for advanced spectrum allocation. And all those features are actually not compatible with 5G as it is today. So it's evolving. And 6G is the next step in this evolution. So that's why you need to talk about what this 6G network is going to be. And if you look to the history of evolution of the mobile networks, we can see a clear pattern, right? We start here with the first generation, right? Where it was actually changing the world, right? Before the first generation, to talk with someone, you need to have a singularity. The person that would like to talk needs to be in that place in that given time, right? If the person was not that place in that given time, you call to that place and you cannot reach the person, so you cannot establish communication. So this first generation brought the ability to talk with anyone, anywhere. And that was completely new. Of course, the demand was huge. But the idea of this first generation was to make like a very special user case for this kind of communication, for some people, not everybody. The second generation was necessary actually to make mobile communication affordable to everybody. By digitalize the voice, improve the spectrum efficiency, it was able to promote this technology to anyone, right? So you can see that an idea was brought here, and then it was actually affordable in the second generation. In the third generation, the idea was to bring internet access. Actually, it started with second generation, 2.5, but the third generation was the one to bring internet to our pockets, right? So you developed a new physical layer, you develop a new MAC layer to allow packet communication over mobile communication, mobile networks. And it was a success, but we could not yet have, with the third generation, the same experience that you have with wired networks. So you have the mobile communication, you could access some web page, you could have some service, but it was a network to enjoy streaming, for example, or to upload in real time a video that you're doing from your vacations at a beach. So that's why you had the fourth generation. That was the one that we actually have the full power of mobile communication and where we could see the development of social networks. So now I'm able to consume my streaming anywhere. I'm able to use my cell phone as a platform to generate content, not only to consume content. I am able to share my experience over the internet anywhere I am. And now you're seeing the fifth generation coming up. We're already seeing that it can provide a higher data rate, it can be more efficient, but also it's introducing internet for other scenarios, mobile internet for other scenarios, for example, for industry, for farms, for remote areas. But it's still evolving. We are not quite sure yet what are the requirements, because when you develop a technology, the engineers are sure of just one thing. You have no idea how people are going to use it, what application will come up with just technologies. So you need to have these new services being deployed, learn from the population what they are going to do with that, and then we will overcome those challenges with the sixth generation. So that is the part that they're seeing once and again, right? So you need to learn from 5G and then support the requirements of the 6G. And in this endeavor, we can clearly see that the network is not only based on communication, right? Communication is still, of course, one of the main objectives of a mobile network. But also you are seeing demand for sensing, because the network must understand what is in the environment. We need to know where the user is. You need to point the beams with high precision to the position where the user is located. You need to have imaging. You need to use the RF signal to create an image of the space and use that to improve the communication, but also to support other applications such as autonomous coexistence with humans. You're seeing now robots popping up everywhere, and just robots need to be precisely located. So position is also very important. And also you have AI that's everywhere. And here AI has two major roles. You have AI for the network itself, for taking the decisions and configuration of the network, and the network as a support for AI servers. So you have these two applications for AI in this case. So you are seeing that 6G is not only a network for communication, but it's much more than that. And here are some verticals that are very important to Brazil. And this is the result of a study from several researchers around the entire country, that we come up with some numbers that would be necessary to fulfill the requirements of these applications. So you have smart farm, that's very important for the Brazilian economy. Mining is very important for the Brazilian economy. You need to have digital twins in the industry, in the cities. Healthcare, which is a huge problem in Brazil. If you live in main cities, have access to good doctors is quite challenging. Education, it's always a problem for us. Transport and logistics, a huge country like this, a continental size country like this, provide good communication, good data. It's very important for logistics. And the smart cities, which is very important for several cases, right? For health, make sure that the traffic jam is not a nightmare, make sure that you can have good air, good water supplies, and that's why you need to have information from the environment. And 6G is going to provide that. But if you look to this table here, you can see that the numbers are quite ambitious, right? Like 10 years ago, if I see a table like this, I say, no, that's magic, right? There's not possible to achieve that. But you're seeing that all the techniques are evolving quite fast as well. And nowadays, we can foresee in a future where those numbers can be achieved with the development of new waveforms, new coding, new routing systems, new architectures, integration between terrestrial, satellite, and cabled networks. Those numbers can be achieved, not by only one network, not only one radio access technique, but with several ones. So you can see that 6G is becoming a network of networks, where several new technologies will be integrated under the same umbrella, which is 6G. So how we are helping in these activities, right? So we have Brazil 6G. I think it was the first major research project in Brazil regarding development of 6G networks. The main goal here is to look to all the needs in several areas. Those are the partners that we have in this project. And just partners are working together to try to promote the requirements in the standardization bodies, and at the same time, develop technologies that can support those requirements. So if you look to the goals, you have 4 main pillars, right? The first one here, you are very interested in scientific development regarding 6G in all the areas, from the application to the physical layer. We are also would like to make Brazil a focus point for the research on 6G networks worldwide, right? So make sure that people from abroad can understand that the researchers in Brazil can actually contribute with the development of this technology. We are concentrating the force, the coordination of those efforts mainly for this goal. We'd like to make sure that all the efforts that are being done in terms of research is aligned towards this goal. And you are also developing a platform that anyone can use to test your ideas from simulation level actually to the radio transmitting and receiving in a relevant environment. So it's a real complete platform for remote, mobile network development. So you have actually already done 2 phases. The first phase was focused more to understand what was the 6G networks, what was happening abroad, what are the main user case that was being seen for the future of the mobile networks, and you start to design this platform, what you needed in terms of equipment, of infrastructure to have this platform. The second phase, we already start with the contributions from our side, right? So you start to develop new technologies. We published several papers in this second phase. We started demonstrating what this platform could do. So you had already some pieces in place. And also started to talk with the bodies that can provide contributions to the standardization process. And actually managed to make 3 contributions for the ETU regarding the requirements for networks operating remote areas. Now, the current activities that you have, that are doing now, Brazil 6G is happening now. We are working with the contributions for the physical layer, link layer, network layer. So there is a huge group of researchers work on these topics. We have meetings every week, basically, to discuss how we can improve the techniques in these 3 levels. Also, we have a group focused on developing the applications for 6G networks, and we are starting to operate this platform. So now it's become alive. You have now the interface to connect to the platform, where you can deploy your experiment, test it, and get the results. And then you're working with the dissemination of all those results. So now you already have 24 transaction papers and 32 conference papers published recently. And now you have also the xGMobile, which is another initiative that's being promoted by the Brazilian government, now with the support from Embrapi. Right? So these here now the goal are a little bit different, right? It's not only research. We are actually trying to create an entire ecosystem that involves companies. So you are looking to the operators, to the industry, regarding telecommunication, and also those that can be the clients of this network. So cooperatives, the verticals, everybody are being listened in order to create the products that can actually solve the problems that you see in 5G and the problems that are going to happen in 6G. So here is not only 6G networks. We are actually looking to 5G. And you are actually doing that with several other partners. So you have a technical association with several companies that are already enjoying this environment. You are trying to promote the creation of new startups. And they are also trying to provide the state-of-art infrastructure integrated with the Brazil 6G platform. So you have these 5 pillars that are working now: develop research, human resource, new companies, this technical association, and the RD infrastructure. And there are projects in different areas, right? So one of them is looking to terahertz communication. Inatel has now quite good infrastructures that goes up to 110 gigahertz. We are also developing new materials for metal surfaces and smart surfaces. There is a new lab that was finished, it's being finished actually, in this last semester. We are working with new waveforms, so the physical layer is still a very important subject for us, mainly in how to provide connectivity in remote areas, so how we can design the waveforms to reach remote areas. Artificial intelligence is, of course, one of the major techniques that we use to improve the quality of the link, of the network as a whole. We are looking to new spectrum allocation and also IoT applications that can be integrated to the system. And you have a very good interaction between xGMobile and Brazil 6G. So you have a good interaction between the researchers in the 2 projects. And the main idea here is to hear from the Brazil 6G regarding what can be the future. And they can get this idea and evolve TAR up to TAR 6 and make sure that that technology can be transferred to the market. So while Brazil 6G is mainly focused on the research RD itself, xGMobile is thinking about how to take this idea and make that a product and put that in the market as soon as possible. And also how to prepare people for those technologies in the future. And those are not the only activities, right? We also have Smartness project, which is an initiative from FAPESP. The coordinator is here. Professor Chris is going to help us with more details later on. But that's a huge effort also regarding how we can improve the possibilities of integration of different services with a new core and a new infrastructure. So there are a lot of people working on that also, mainly from the São Paulo state, because that's a FAPESP project. And they also have the Open Run project, which is there are 2 initiatives, the Open Run project and the Open Run Competence Center. And also have here the coordinator of the Competence Center on Open Run, Professor Fuad, will be talking also during our event. So you can see that the entire ecosystem for 6G development is being represented in your event today. So it's not only about Inatel, it's not only about xGMobile or Brazil 6G, but it's how Brazil is contributing to the future of communications here. So we can come with some conclusions here. That is, the first one is that we are improving a lot in terms of resources being applied in this development. And that's quite important because so far, Brazil is just being used technology that is developed for the first world, let's say, US, Europe, and Asia. So they develop the technology and they try to use it. And you manage to fulfill a lot of the requirements for many applications, but there are a lot of verticals that are left behind. I can mention mining, agribusiness, logistics for long coverage, just as some examples, right? So you're trying now to see how you can influence the standardization bodies, how you can show to the world that you can develop good technology, and that those verticals can actually be fully supported by the future mobile network. So that's our goals. Okay, thank you very much.